Welcome to Mountain High Adventures YouTube channel for adults, where we talk about all things mountains, cannabis, and adventure running. Welcome back, adventurers. I just got back from snowshoeing to Fletcher Peak. This video is going to be a quick route description of the hike up to the summit. I have a Relive in snow conditions, which I'll tag behind that, and then I made about a 4-minute movie of my experience snowshoeing up to the summit of Fletcher Peak. So make sure you watch the video to the end to catch that great footage in the snow. So let's jump right into it, you all. Fletcher Peak. This is one of the sub-peaks up in the Mount Charleston area. Just outside of Las Vegas here, we have this awesome mountain range called the Spring Mountains. And Mount Charleston is the tallest mountain in the Spring Mountains, and it sits at just a little bit over 11,900 feet. So we've got this awesome alpine range right outside of Las Vegas, and it's been snowing a lot up there recently. And I tried to climb Griffith Peak last week, and I failed because the snow was getting too deep and I wasn't properly prepared, didn't have the right gear. But a friend of mine messaged me and said, hey, if you want to go back up in the snow in the mountains, I would love to go hiking with you. So we decided to go for Fletcher Peak, which is another peak up in that same area. The summit of Fletcher is just over 10,300 feet, so it's pretty high in elevation. And my friend Manny and I used the North Loop Trail to reach Fletcher Peak. So the North Loop Trailhead is up along Highway 158, I believe, that connects Highway 157 and 156. I could be wrong with the number there, but it's about halfway between Kyle Canyon and Lee Canyon, and the North Loop Trailhead sits at about 8,400 feet in elevation. The hike up to Fletcher is about, you gain elevation for about 2.3 miles, and you kind of reach a high point up there, just a little over 10,000 feet, and it's actually kind of right above where the famous rain tree sits. But we didn't go visit the rain tree. We headed south from that high point, and we had to drop down a little bit and then up to Fletcher Peak. We encountered quite a bit of snow on the trail. When we left the trailhead, there was maybe 6 to 12 inches of snow probably covering the ground, and the trail was hard packed snow, so we just wore, alpine boots, and we had trekking poles with us. We both had full packs with food and water and normal hiking stuff, and we also brought crampons and ice axes because we just weren't sure how crazy the conditions were going to be up there. And we had snowshoes with us as well. But when we took off from the trailhead, we were just hiking, and we actually hiked all the way up to that high point, like 2.2 miles up the trail, just in our boots. And once we reached there, we stopped and took a break. It had been pretty slow going, just trudging through the snow. And during our break, we assessed that the snow was considerably deeper up there, and there didn't seem to be any tracks between there and Fletcher Peak. And up to that point, there had been trail, that had been boot packed, and so it was fairly easy to hike up. But we knew it was going to be much more difficult to hike through the deep snow with no tracks. So we put on the snowshoes, and from there we headed down. You lose a little elevation across this ridge, and then you head up to Fletcher Peak. Going up the final ascent to Fletcher Peak, you go through this beautiful bristlecone forest, and it's this whole slope of these bristlecone pine trees that are probably in the range of 1,000 to 2,000 years old. I mean, these trees are huge, they're twisted and gnarled, but they're still alive and thriving. I mean, it's just this amazing, magical forest. And my friend Manny and I were just in awe as we were hiking up to the summit, being amongst these old bristlecones. And Manny was noting, how unique this area is, and how few places there are in the world that have these high concentrations of these bristlecone pine trees. So we were really treated up there to these beautiful trees and these awesome views. Once we reached the summit, you can see Mount Charleston and Griffith Peak and the whole valley below, and seeing that whole range with a covering of snow just makes it look so much more beautiful and epic and mountainous. it was just a wonderful hike up there. It took us a little over 3 hours to reach the summit. Our time car to car was 6 hours total, and we covered 6.42 miles. So we were moving really slowly the whole time we were up there. Again, you know, deep snow, it's just hard to move quick. But we did gain a total of 2,339 feet in elevation. So we climbed a considerable amount, especially in the snow. You know, it just makes it, again, that much harder. It probably felt more like 3,500 to 4,000 feet of climbing with the amount of elevation we lost packing snow through part of our route. I think that's about it for the stats. Let me show you a quick map. So here's the map of the route. Highway 158, I think I was correct. It connects 157 and 156, I believe. But anyway, this is the North Loop trailhead up here, and you head up North Loop Trail. You come out onto this first big sort of shelf up there. It sort of opens up and you can see really beautiful views, and you go through some more switchbacks. And then this is kind of the high point of the North Loop Trail on these first couple miles. If you were to descend down into this little area, that's where the rain tree is. But we headed directly south and went and tagged Fletcher Peak Summit. For our return trip, we just reversed our tracks, and we actually stayed exactly in our snowshoe tracks until we got back over to this high point, and then we followed the main North Loop Trail back down to the end. Again, it was about a 6-hour trip. Wonderful day up there in the Spring Mountains. Stay tuned, you guys. I'm going to put that snow condition relive of Fletcher Peak right behind this, and then again, a 4-minute movie from the GoPro footage I took while we were up there will be right behind that. Go ahead and smash that red subscribe button for me real quick. Follow along the Mountain High Adventures YouTube channel. Don't miss any of my awesome outdoor adventure content. Please give me a like if you like the video, and give me a comment. Let me know what you think. I'm also going to put a link to my Patreon page down below. That's my outdoor adventure based community of people trying to live healthy lifestyles. And thanks for following along, you all. Many more Mountain High adventures to come. Mountain High Adventures at the North Loop Trailhead. We're gonna try to climb Fletcher Peak today in the snow. Check out the sunrise. Up here today. Okay, we're about a third of the mile up the trail. We're gonna shed a layer here. We're still just in our boots. We haven't needed crampons or snowshoes yet. Alright, we made it up here to this first shelf on the North Loop Trail. .2 miles up the North Loop Trail, and we take a little break here,
There's Fletcher Peak right there. We're gonna go over and summit Fletcher Peak here in a minute. Okay, the snow is a little bit deeper up here, so we decided to put our snowshoes on. Snowshoes. And we're gonna cruise down the ridge down here and head over towards Fletcher. The snow's gotten pretty deep. It's a good thing we put the snowshoes on. It's like probably up to 2 feet in some places, and we're sinking in 12, 15 inches in snowshoes. Final little push to the summit. We did it. We just reached the summit of Fletcher Peak. Alright, that's it. I made it back to the North Loop trailhead. I recorded a total of 6.4 miles, just under 5 hours. We wore the snowshoes the whole way back. Just felt good that way. Quite a big mountain experience today, summiting Fletcher Peak. Woo! Mountain high adventures!